Here we go. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fangirlz Assemble. We've all assembled with my honorary fangirls, Jessica and Stephen. Welcome back, Jessica and Stephen. Thank you for coming to me in my time of need.
I'm a proud alternate. I'll do my best. Kristan impersonation. I didn't pick any books that were Kristan coded except for one, and I did think of her when I did it.
I went really method to try to be like Kristan, so you know, I'm actually gonna. Well, hold on. What's public knowledge?
What? That she's pregnant?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say because I went method and I'm actually pregnant.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. Nice.
To try to impersonate Kristan as best as possible, but then I was like, oh no, what if people don't know?
No, she announced on her channel, so everyone knows she's on YouTube maternity leave right now.
Cool. I died inside for a second.
I understand. Yeah, I basically I went to my comic book room. I was like, okay, let's pick 4 things. And I was like, those. That's how I chose because I was like, if I think too deep about it, I'll be in there forever. So I was like, let's make it quick. Today we're talking about the favorite books in our collection. But before we talk about that, we're going to talk about where you can buy some of what could potentially be your favorite books for your collection. Our lovely sponsor, InStockTrades.com, where you can get up to 50% off your books. And let me tell you, if you spend $50 and you live in the United States, which we all do, that's free shipping. It's pretty crazy. Free shipping and some great boxes. That shit is bomb-proof. It can survive in the rain. And the other places you buy from aren't going to do that.
Yeah, if you're like in the market to build a bomb shelter, that foam packaging, I mean, that's like industrial grade. I just placed my first order since May. It's been a while because Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow got a deluxe and it has to be a part of my collection, but it's not here yet, so it's not on this list.
Oh,
Since I've started using those cardboard like hard outsides, that's all I've been using to ship books to people. Like I'm I don't even have to pad it that much. I just set it in there, put bubble wrap on top like they do, and it's good to go.
It's the best. I don't know how they do it, but I'm thankful. Anyways, check out our sponsor, StockTrades.com. You can find the link down below in the description. Now let's talk about our books. I guess we could just do a little like round robin deal. I can start, and then we just chat and talk or whatever. That sounds good. I'll start with a small one, and it's my first volume of the Adventure Zone.
Nailed it. Crushed it.
Hey.
Cleared the pole vault.
Yeah, tattoo. The Adventure Zone, Here There Be Gerblins, by my sweet boys and their dad, the McCoy brothers. Been a big fan of the podcast forever. And when this came out, they were doing like a little book tour. And so they came here. Not all of them, everybody but Griffin. And so they signed the book. It says, look, Madeline, you're my hero.
Was that Travis? That sounds like Travis.
That was it looks like a J, so I think that's Justin. He wrote Madeline, you're my hero. Travis wrote Madeline, and then Clint McCoy had signed his name. And what's fun about this is Elliot says like good boy on both of his signatures. Mm-hmm. And when we were walking through the line, we were like, it was moving slowly. So Jess looked up and said, oh, hey, how you doing? And he looked down, it looked back up, the line had not moved. He goes, oh, hey, how you doing? Elliot twice in a row. I was like, that's beautiful. Wow. But this is great. And this is what I was like waiting for forever to come. I love this whole series. And so it was really special to have. We have like 3 copies of volume 1 because Elliot has his own, I have my own, and we had pre-ordered one already. And that's great. And I might see some of these boys this coming week. We'll see if I run into any of them because I'll be at Gen Con. So they'll be walking around. So we'll see. That's, yeah. If you're at home and you're like, what is this? It's a D&D podcast, actual play podcast turned graphic novel. And they did a very, very good job of adapting it. And it's a very funny podcast. You don't really have to know everything. And by the end, you're just weeping. It's beautiful. They did such a good job with this. And I can't wait to see how it all wraps up in the graphic novel and how they adapt it. Very good.
I'm not ready.
Me
can't handle the emotions again. It was emotional enough that I was like, you know what I should do? Spend $1,000 I don't have and get a half sleeve.
Yeah.
Because of this ding dang podcast.
Those boys.
Also, like,
investment.
remember, this is a very weird thing that I forget about. Remember when I had a podcast?
Yeah, and I was on it.
And like, you were on it, and so were the good boys.
Yeah.
Like, and I knew them. I forget any of that world existed.
That's a whole different life.
That was a whole different pre-COVID life.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought about that. I was like, oh, I've heard they're nice. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, you sent me a nice message on Twitter, and I was like, I don't know those guys, but yeah, I'll go on podcast, sure. And then you're like, hey, I noticed that you fucking destroyed your volume of Saga. Would you like another one?
What did you do
like, oh
to
my
it?
gosh. It just fell off the bookshelf.
Oh, okay.
So it's just wrecked. So, but I keep both of them as like a memory. So I'm like, oh, this is a Steven one to replace this like destroyed one.
Yeah, I felt bad because you were just like, who is this random person I'm giving my address to? It's just like, I'm going to send you this book because it's sad and everyone needs a copy.
Bless. I've never listened to the podcast, but that book is new reader friendly in that sense. I've picked it up and had absolutely no. In fact, it also taught me a lot about D&D, the little like narrative bits throughout. So if people are on the fence for that reason, I can verify first person that you don't need to know anything. It's a great book.
It's not for kids. It's always in the kids section at places.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I think it should not be I don't know if I can say the line that I always think of and show parents when they're picking it up for their child.
And you're a dad, so you can say that.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm like, can I
mean, you can say that it's not for kids.
Oh, I was like, can I say the bad word? Am I allowed to say bad word?
The MF word?
Yeah.
I think here, yeah. Not on over your new reader. You can say it here.
Yeah. No, it was
There's no rules.
The abraca fuck you.
Yeah, abraca fuck you is good.
I'm like, I show parents that and they're always like, oh. But I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Jessica, please reveal your first book.
My first book. So last year I watched a movie called Tuva. I can't recommend it enough. It was about Tuva Janssen. Didn't know who the lady was. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Totally fell in love with her as a person, her life story. She's a writer and a cartoonist, or was a writer and a cartoonist. And I was like, okay, these books, the Moomin books, they're available in a lot of formats, but do I need to treat myself? Yes, I do. You always do. Always treat yourself. So I went out and I have both volumes of the deluxe anniversary edition. The second one is a collection when her brother took over the comic book strips, but it's just one of the nicest books. I went with like the actual like book itself more so than the story. It's got like a textured and embossed outside, got a nice ribbon. There's a lot of like attention to detail inside. And if you've never seen the Moomin art, it is very like detailed. It's the details in each panel are quite small. So having an oversized format is quite nice, including one thing I didn't know about her is she's one of the first people, if not the first person to, instead of using only traditional lines to separate panels, she used things in the scene and was one of the first people to do so. So that sort of detail is something you really miss. So like here you can see there are like flowers in a garden that's separating the panel.
Yeah.
So having a format like this for that kind of art, I think is great. And it's an excellent coffee table book because all the stories in here are like a page and a half, 2 pages. So unlike a big Omni that you're sitting there, no one's going to thumb through that, especially someone who's never picked up a comic before. But they might pick up something like this and be like, oh, and as a book, it's just super interesting because while it is like definitely appropriate and aimed for children, it's written with adults in mind. Certainly all of the like themes and some of the like they're drinking wine, for example, but it's still age appropriate. And it's just very European in that sense and kind of a nice thing to complement. I think here we have like the peanuts as our most signature thing. But one thing that's exciting is Barnes and Noble in the US finally has a contract and is selling a lot more Moomin stuff. And they make like pre-K Moomin books now, which is super cute and lots of cute merchandise. But this particular book is like, I think, one of the nicer ones in my collection, and I like to thumb through it a lot. So highly recommend it. It is still semi-available. Nice. You can track different versions of it down.
Like, I remember when, like, oh man, maybe it was pre-COVID, so maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, Moomin got really popular with cosplayers, like younger, I'd say like early 20s, like late teens cosplayers out of nowhere. So like you were seeing, like, because they would dress up as like, I guess, little guys, a little girl, I don't know what they are, in like little witch looking hats. And so you'd see tons of them. Moomin was like popping off online. But that book was so beautiful. Like, I don't have any of those like big like comic strip books, but whenever I see you and like Kristan hold them up, I'm like, that looks so nice. Looks so cool.
Yeah, and it's Moomin, you can buy, like I said, you can buy a lot of cheap, smaller versions to test out if you like it. But I think just the art alone is 100% worth it. And Moomin is very popular. Like, they have theme parks internationally. I think it was Japan that did a very successful animated show. So definitely look into it if it interests you. There's a lot out there, and it's becoming more readily available in the US.
Elon said, a book is big when it gets a Welsh translation, and then it's going on their Christmas list.
Yes, highly recommend, Elon. I think you would really like it.
So, Steven, I don't know, I'm doing this. It's like I have
a transition.
It's like a little like.
Yeah, it's like a crossfade. Like.
Yeah, just imagine that's what's happening when I'm doing these weird wiggle arms.
Yeah, technologically, we don't have the capabilities to put you like going across my screen.
I could if I put in any effort of just like OBS and like, like
that
Twitch
still
stuff,
sounds
but like
too much.
Nobody needs that on a Sunday morning. We're good.
No,
you're good. Just chill.
I don't even have my coffee. Like, no.
Brutal.
I went to the coffee shop that I usually sit at for like 3 hours, and I raced back here. So be grateful.
I am grateful.
Yeah.
Second only to you getting pregnant beforehand.
Yesterday. Yeah, the pregnancy was a big deal.
The tattoo. That was like big commitment to just for this episode.
Yeah.
On July 28th. Yeah, absolutely.
I get it. I don't know. I'm great. Okay. For me, it is the August 2024 previews catalog of Marvel.
Okay.
No, that just happened to be on my shelf.
Oh, I was just like,
I was waiting for the explanation.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, I'm just like,
when he left from milk, dropped me off at the comic book store.
Yeah, no, August of 2024. Yeah, this was seminal in my comic book history. No, I do feel like I need to like have that like, but I'm like I'm weird. Let's see. I have a little stack over here. None are based on their beauty or anything, because I sent you that message last night. I was like, are we talking about pretty books or good stories?
And I was like, honestly, either.
I did pretty books.
I'm going to pick good stories that I think are underrated.
Yes, love that.
And some that are not, even though they're all from the big four, which I have now including Boom in the big.
That's probably smart.
They're in the big four now. So first I'm gonna go with the one I just got into reading now, and I'm waiting for my second and third volume to come from In Stock Trades, a great organization who it got lost in the mail and got returned to them, and I've been waiting a month now, but they're like, hey, we didn't realize that something bad happened, let us send it back to you. And like, they're very friendly and very good to work with.
People.
Customer service, In Stock Trades. I'm waiting on volume 2 and 3 to get here, and I'm waiting with bated breath. So I just got done reading Kaya.
Oh.
Which is a image book, and the art and writing is by Wes Craig, who did Deadly Class, and Gravediggers Union, and yeah, the art is, to me, I know a lot of people, Wes Craig is, I don't know, I like his art a lot. Like, I think this art is just gorgeous.
Ooh.
And it's this sick lizard people, and just like, it's such a weird book.
Yeah.
In the best way. And essentially it's just this young girl in this strange war-torn, not post-apocalyptic, but fantasy world. And their village is destroyed, and her younger brother, who she didn't know she had until very recently, is supposed to be imbued with power of the gods, but he hasn't gotten them yet.
Yeah.
And so she promised her like dying uncle, I'll get him across the world to this safe place. And they don't necessarily get along. There's a lot of fun brother sister dynamics there, but also like very sweet, like kind of the I hate you but I secretly love you type of dynamic. The lizard people are rad. It's just, I don't know. It's just a very fun book. I haven't sat down and been like, this is just fun in a long time, because comics. So often with comics, I'm like, where this is artistic. I need the deep story, and this is just like, nah. She's a young girl getting a guy across the country. They're brother and sister. They're bickering, and she used to make out with a lizard dude. So like, it's all it is. But there's 3 volumes out. Right now, this is the first one. The other 2, I think the third one just came out like a month ago.
Yeah.
Is that one more all ages, or still for?
I would put this as like I would put it as like maybe a young teen.
Okay.
I wouldn't have like a kiddo reading it, because it is violent.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of monsters. For instance, this sad image of a bunch of dead cows. Like there's some dark things in it that maybe would not be great for kiddos. But again, poor Maddie keeps having to zoom in. This art is just gorgeous.
I love this.
Wes Craig is killing it on this book. It's still coming out, so I know there'll be at least one more volume, depending on when he decides to end it. So it's awesome. You should read it. I think it's extremely underrated. It's great.
Nice. I like that. Looks cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's really good. You should pick it up.
I love it's the biggest compendium. It's almost out of control. And I love a softcover compendium.
Yeah.
A little bit of, like that's actually one of my preferred formats. But I did get the Deadly Class one. It's literally out of control. Like I've had it smushed between a bunch of books for, I don't know, however long I've had it, 2 months. Whenever it came out, I got it like the week later. And you pull it out and it just pops open like this. It is just like overstuffed. I mean, I'm happy to have it all in one place. Absolutely. But it is kind of out of control for compendium, I will say.
That's how I felt with the Black Science compendium. I was just like,
I haven't seen that one in person.
This is big. And now granted, a Deadly Class has to be bigger because it was a longer series, because Black Science got 3 of those oversized deluxes and Deadly Class got 4. So I can't imagine that it would be smaller. Deadly Class is one of the few that just because I love Wes Craig's art, I had to get those library-sized editions. Yeah. It's just so good.
Yeah, I feel like Terry Moorzo, when I've seen this, that are really like abstract comics, like released a really nice soft cover, like huge. I don't know, that's like huge books. Like those always feel like they read well, and then other ones I'm like, no, maybe because it's all black and white.
One of the best ones is the Milestone ones. They are so flexible. The pages in there, I have to give it up. Like, and also the texture of the cover. It's just those are nice books. Sorry, go ahead, Maddie.
Oh, you're fine. Next one. This is story and collection. I mean, people really hated this cover, and I get it, but I like it. I think it looks really cool. Gail Simone's Red Sonja. This is my favorite Red Sonja book. It got me into Red Sonja. It caused me to spend a lot of money. Well, actually, I guess Elliot spent all that money on that figure, so it wasn't me. But it got me to have my husband spend a lot of money on a Red Sonja figure that's in my house. And started my whole obsession with Red Sonja. The story's great. And having it all together in one is just lovely. And having it oversized. makes me so happy. I've talked about Red Sonja a lot, but if you're looking for like an intro to Red Sonja, I think you can't go wrong with Gail Simone. To me, like that's the one. And she's so much more than I thought she would be. You know, she's like, you know, wearing a bikini, but like there's a reason. And also she's really hot, but she's like, hey, let's sleep together. And they're like, you smell bad. No. And I love that. She's fighting people and she's got these really like dramatic backstories and stuff. And the art's fantastic. Can't go wrong. And I keep this right next to my Red Sonja figure downstairs. Your own special place.
Isn't that run the one where Gail Simone wrote? I think she wrote the line of like, "Men don't notice my sword." Because somebody asks her about her outfit, and she says like, "Men don't notice my sword until their head rolls from their shoulders."
Yeah, yeah, I love that whole reasoning because she's like, "Yeah, I do it because everyone like they don't expect anything of me." Ugh.
And Maddie, I don't remember if I sent you this news, but Gail Simone was just announced as writing a prose Red Sonja story.
Oh yeah,
like getting a novel, which is pretty cool. I haven't read yet. I saw, is it her name Lisa Jewell? She's like a thriller writer. Did a Jessica Jones one. I haven't read it yet, but it is. I'm on hold on the library. But I'm kind of interested to see more of that that side of things grow, because I do think it could bring in like new folks, especially if you get someone who is a prose writer first, like I think Lisa Jewell, and so people are like, oh, what's this? And then that's also an interesting way to be pulled into comics.
Yeah,
so I hope it's good. I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, hopefully
we'll see.
DC's had a lot, but like more like younger age books. Like Wonder Woman's got a ton, and they'll make a graphic novel version and like the novel version.
Yeah, absolutely.
Transition
no. I'm trying to think of what to do next. I guess this one's good because you just brought up Terry Moore. So I was so pumped to find this. I didn't know it existed previously. And I remember showing it to Maddie. She's like, oh, yeah, I know all about that. But I'm still excited after that. And that was Strangers in Paradise Treasury Edition. And why I really like this, I have, as you said earlier, actually next to me, like the Strangers in Paradise omnibus set that's like soft cover. But the truth is why I really like this one is it's just an interesting thing to have in your collection because let's see if I can do a couple of pages. It's almost like a director's commentary all the way through. So instead of like the value-added media extra features being at the back of the book, it dissects, I believe, the first volume. And it'll do that both with art and with story. So, for example, you'll get some stuff with story. You'll get these little text boxes that will pop up and talk about some of the process, some of the inspirations, or just some of the like plotting decisions. But it also has some zoom ins on, you know, maybe smaller panels. You can get all of the details as well. And then it has some of the traditional stuff like, you know, the alternate covers gallery, etc.
Yeah.
I think there's more of these. I believe there's maybe one or two more of these in the world. But when I found this, I found it at Half Price Books and I was like, oh, absolutely. And it was so fun to like flip through. And I wish that more books did that where we're dissecting as we go and not just picking a couple of things to put at the end, because showing the process is so interesting. And Terry Moore does like Studio Sundays on his YouTube channel and does short versions of that. And it's like Bob Ross, like Mr. Rogers, like that's the energy it gives. It's so soothing to watch someone talk about someone competent, someone who's been in the business for a while, talk about each aspect of the process. So having it in writing is pretty cool. And again, like finding it in the wild, I think made it more special.
So this is the Treasury Edition, right?
Yes. And again, I think there is more than one. I also believe this was in hardcover as well, but I just happened to find this.
Oh yeah, eventually I'll bring up the gallery edition later. Spoiler alert.
I wondered if you would, yeah.
Yeah. It's the best one that it's like So
cool. If you weren't gonna bring it, I was gonna go to my closet and go pull it out right now.
It's the best. It's so dusty.
So good.
I threw it right back, but I was like, no, I'm bringing this up.
I'm
labor of love.
for I live in a crappy apartment because I've spent so much money on these books. And one of the things that I most love and despise about you, my dear friend, is how much money I've spent on Terry Moore. Because of you, I've got statues. I've got just everything I could find. I got action figures. This is what the level was. I bought during COVID. He sold his Comic-Con banners.
Yeah.
And signed them. I bought one of them.
What?
Whoa.
And I have it like, I think I just took it down because we were moving some furniture around, but I have it like command stripped to the wall. So I just have this massive, it's that image of Kachu from the back of that book, actually, sitting on the bench from, I think, issue 2.
That is so cool.
And I'm just like, what? Why did I do this? But also, he was like, it's COVID. I need money. And I was like, me too. But apparently, it's a credit card. It's Monopoly money. Yeah, that's why I don't own a house. Are you gonna do your transition dance? Yeah, I wasn't gonna say a word until you did that.
Oh, there's a sound now.
Okay, so this one is from a little known company called Marvel.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, I know.
They definitely wouldn't bring back Robert Downey Jr. to play Dr. Jim. We'll talk about that later.
So weird.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know much about it because I just found that out this morning. I have not been paying attention. And I don't know how I feel about it. I don't feel good. So this is one of my favorite authors, Kelly Thompson.
Yeah.
This is her run on Black Widow.
I think I read that.
I think this is the best run on Black Widow, period. I think that not enough people wrote it, but I like that she kept it concise. It's 15 issues, 3 volumes. It just got a complete collection like 2 weeks ago that came out. If anybody wants to buy and ship me the complete collection, let me know. Because I can't justify buying it because I have the 3 trades. But I would like to eventually buy it so I can loan these out to people so they can read it. Because I just think it's that good of a run that it needs to be like passed out to people, like on the street, like a religious tract.
Kelly's one of those. I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm in. Like, I'm literally
like a
reading
single character book. That's because my favorite Marvel books are always like not a team book, just like one character.
I'm literally reading Scarlet right now in floppies, which is a G.I. Joe spinoff because Kelly Thompson's writing it, and it's another badass redhead spy being written by Kelly Thompson.
Yeah.
So I'm in. She made me like Deadpool.
Yeah.
But why was it canceled?
I don't know.
Because people are dumb.
Yes. Yeah. I have to say this. I'm so glad you took the route of underrated stories, because when you said not enough people read this is so true. I'm not like a huge Marvel is certainly very secondary if between the big two for me. And like Maddie, I'm almost never going to read a team book with the exception of maybe like X-Men books. But especially like Black Widow is just not historically my favorite character. When she's popped up in things, just like in the movies, me personally, I feel she's sometimes used to advance the stories of others or change personalities a bit, depending on which hero she's supporting in which book. And I say that as a huge Daredevil fan and knowing she plays that role sometimes in Daredevil, you know. And when I picked this book up, I did it just for Thompson, and it was great. It was fantastic. And I was like, finally, I'm like reading a Marvel character that's very popular, so it's not as likely to get canceled like every other Marvel book that I buy. And then I found out it got canceled, and I was like just so disappointed, because she, to me, is like, maybe other than Captain Marvel, like the premier Marvel like female character, I think, at least that from the outside, again, being more of a DC person. So it was really devastating, because that run, it's so fun, it's so new reader friendly, and the personality infused in all of the characters, it's just a blast. And I'm so upset that it got canceled. Yeah, I'm frustrated.
The art's great. The battle sequences are drawn really, really cool. like where there'll be like 6 versions of her on the page.
Yeah.
And it's just showing like her moving around the room, doing all the stuff. And it's great. Which made me think of another book that I think is underrated, and I might have to go get it out of my room. Because I get the same feeling from this book.
Well, you know, we can schedule another, because I need some more ideas for next one. Books that are underrated.
Yeah. I have a lot of underrated books.
I have so much underrated stuff.
Too.
Most of my underrated stuff is from the big companies too, because
they cancel everything that I love.
Yeah.
And usually it's like a female book. This book is here because it's good, but also because it feels really nice.
Emotionally and physically.
Yeah, absolute Swamp Thing. Yeah, I'm going to.
What's the face feel?
Obsessed with these. I also really desperately want, I don't know if Jessica's bringing it up, but the Superman for All Seasons slipcover. Because I really want that for the same reason. The fabricy like feel of this is so nice. It's great. And the story is great. Like people didn't really like the colors when they released this. I never read it originally. So to me, I'm like, it does not matter to me. I love the story. I love the art. It was my first like real foray into Swamp Thing. And because of the era it came out in, it could have gone either way for me based on what I like to read. And I loved this. I loved it. And also it has a ribbon in it. And all books should have ribbons. Less dust jackets, more ribbons. Okay? End of story. I'll keep it simple. People don't know about Swamp Thing. It's really good. Look at that.
Yes.
Look at that.
I could feel the book through the screen when you did that. It was so like good. ASMR accurate. I love it.
It's so good. And look at the art in the back of it. Like, that's just gorgeous.
I know. I think it intimidates a lot of people because you do open it up and it is very wordy in comparison to most of what you see, but it is just so worth it. And I agree. I remember opening it and being like, this could go one of two ways. And luckily it went the way of like, okay, now I have like Swamp Thing art at my house. So that's a great book to bring up in a great format. Should I do that book?
Monkeys?
I don't know.
You don't have to.
Well,
you showed it to me during a little Zoom lunch, and I was like, I love this.
Okay, then I will. Well, I did a show on Superman for All Seasons on OmniDog's channel. Whoops. And I had for a long time this little humble trade paperback. And I got to be honest, we're doing this show, but Maddie, you've seen my collection. Like, I don't actually own a ton of like prestige format books, and I definitely, if I did, art would be one of the selling points for it. But despite loving this book, when this Absolute was announced, I was like, I don't know. And then I reread it for the first time in a while, and I was like, oh no, actually I do love this, and I do deserve some nice things. And so I did pick up the Absolute collection, and you can't see, but this is a fabric material around not only the case that it comes in, but also on the book itself, which is really awesome.
Nice.
And I think why I love especially this texture is it is a pseudo watercolor art palette, and I think on cloth that looks really rad. But once again, like, just a lot of attention to detail, and there is a bookmark in here, Maddie. But what I really loved about it is in the back, there is actually a hearty amount of especially added media. This is the kind of ratio there. So like that's how much is sort of added, including going through a couple of the, not just script, but some of the art processes that talk about how it basically came to look like watercolor, which I thought was super interesting. And again, like, with this book more than others, they of course have non-colored pages, and you can see how much work for sure the coloring is doing, and colorists obviously not getting like all the love in the world, when you are talking about who created a book, but here that's what really makes this sing. So yeah, absolutely no regrets on this one, and it is obviously still in print, but it feels great, and I am so excited to have it. Good upgrade.
So,
Hey,
confession, I've never actually read Superman for All Seasons.
Well, you want to read it next month?
I got this humble trade paperback.
I'm happy to read it. I've thought about like getting the absolute because it does look beautiful and it seems like the way to read it. But I'm also like, I know it's going to be great, but I always don't want to take a risk until I've read it.
Read it on my DC universe, whatever it is.
You know what? I sucked it up and went and got my own DC universe so I could have the Ultra so that I could have it the month after it comes out.
Yeah,
so
I need to talk to Meerman into doing that so I can have things sooner.
It was just so I could keep up with Joshua Williamson's Green Arrow, and
it is cheaper than buying all the floppies when you think about it.
Oh yeah, and what's his name? Tom Taylor, his Nightwing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're moving. Most people don't. I'm jumping around from company to company. It's a DC book. Most people don't know this author. James, is it Tynion? I don't think anyone.
I finally learned that it's Tynion, and I never knew. I've been calling him James Tynion forever, and that's not.
Oh yeah, I've always said Tynion.
Yeah.
Yeah, James Tynion, the fourth. Again, little known author. Screw every one of you who didn't read this book when it was out.
I never read Talon.
This is.
You would like that, Maddie.
Yeah, I mean, I'll read anything about him. So
it's James Tynion's like first solo series for DC. He had only written backup stories, I believe. He might have written something else, but I think he had only written backup stories for Batman. And so Court of the Owls came out. He was writing a backup story, and he basically just like went with this.
That's good.
Excellent.
Tiny onion. Yeah, but he basically just created this entire character of Calvin Rose, who is a resurrected Talon for the Court of Owls, who basically is like, yeah, I'm not doing this. And it's great. Like, a lot of people give Scott Snyder credit for this book, which I think is stupid, and I'm very glad that they
I didn't know there was like
by James Tynion. Yeah, this is they just came out with this last year.
Oh, okay.
It was 2 trade paperbacks before, but I got rid of those and upgraded because this is just a gorgeous, well put together, complete collection. I actually don't mind the paper that's like papery.
Yeah.
So for me, I actually kind of enjoy it for DC books. It's more pulpy. I like it. But yeah, this is great. I think Scott Snyder wrote like on the first issue, which is why there's so many words. Because Scott Snyder, there's some art in his work, but it's mostly just words. Not to dog on Scott Snyder. I think his Batman run's the best Batman run of all time to me. Don't tell people I said that. Wait, oh no, the internet. Sorry, Grant Morrison's run is not, to me, the best run of all time.
I mean, to me, it's James Tynion's Detective Comics.
That's true. See, I'm talking about the Batman type.
Yeah.
Tynion's Detective Comics, and you know what? Screw it. Everybody hates it, but Mariko Tamaki's Detective Comics I loved.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, really, I could sit here and tell you why all these modern runs to me are actually better than all the classics, but then I'll get death threats. But yes, this is great. It is emotional. It is action packed. It's got some Birds of Prey tie-ins in here that I don't think were in the trades. So it's worth it. It's really not bad. I think it's $39.99. But if you get it from In Stock Trades, your sponsor.
Will you show the spine on that, Steven? Like the outside, the little feathers. That's so cool. I love those attention to detail. It's like the little things that they could easily do that I think.
It's got the close-ups on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick that up because I read a lot of New 52 because I mean that's like most people getting into it.
The art's gorgeous. It's Gilliam March. Yeah, it's great. It's very clear that they liked working together from this book because it you can tell that this book walked so that their Joker series could run.
Yeah.
When it comes to like the art and stuff, which I don't like the Joker as a character really, but that series was great.
I feel the same. If I never saw Joker again, I'd be fine.
That Joker series, I always tell people should not have been called the Joker. It should have been called Gordon.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is written in his first person, and it's great.
I'll check it out too. This is my last one again. I only because I threw out my back, so I couldn't carry everything up. So I'm trying to be cool. I'm a cool kid who sleeps weird, then goes to the gym, and then messes it up for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Stranger in Paradise Gallery Edition. This is my absolute favorite thing absolute favorite book that I have in my collection. I love this so much. I wish there were, there's not a great way to show you how awesome this is in person, but it's huge. I'm gonna mess it up. It's so big. And just even there's these really cool pages in here. I don't know how to describe them because they're thick and they're kind of see-through. And I wish I could show that well, but I feel like I have to have Elliot in here hold the book for me. But these pages here, they're almost see-through. And I don't know if it's to reference kind of the original paper he does it on or not, but to see all of his art blown up this big is so awesome. And it's just copies of how he originally put it all together. So you can see what were originally blue pencil lines or whatever. It's just different examples from some of the comics in different volumes. And then there's full page was as well.
Oh yeah.
It makes me so happy to have this. And this one is purely just for art and breakdown for me to see it.
Yeah.
I remember there were 2 copies left at C2E2 or something when I was there. I think it was 125. I was like, that's it? Take my money. I don't care. Are you kidding me? That's stupid. Give it to me. Ugh.
And that, I mean, if you've not, I don't think you've done a basement tour, have you, Maddie, at any point yet?
No,
not to get the internet on you again, but I just want to
Yeah.
say it's so proudly displayed when you get in there, and it's one of the first things that you see.
Yeah.
And at your birthday, one of your friends, who I don't think is a regular comics reader, was gravitating immediately. So it's again something that's just cool to have. To sometimes these prestige formats, they catch the eye and then it catches someone's interest, and so that's also kind of an exciting byproduct of having a nice book in your collection. Same thing with board games. They always be what the table presence, how it excites people, but it's true when you take out a game that has quality pieces, people are oh, board games are more than
it does feel
classic
nice.
houses of Monopoly. And so here it's comics are more than just whatever they had in their mind. So yeah, it's a really great book. And I would say, to Bar's comment, it's probably 5 to 6 Maddie heads, maybe about 5.5 Maddie heads, I would say. What do you think?
Yeah, and I have
Simon? You have that one.
I have a very large head. It's true. It's very true. I can't wear regular hats. I have to wear large men's hats. It's a big hat. I had a boyfriend that said so I could put more pretty on it, which I thought was really nice.
There you go.
But yeah, I think the more people come into my basement, the more they're interested in reading comics. Because I have one friend that keeps checking me. He's because he wants to read Love and Rockets. He saw somehow that artist got on his radar, and he's checking out other weird stuff. And so, or maybe not weird, but not very more niche, I guess. And so I was well, you could read Love and Rockets, but you could also just read Strangers in Paradise. Someone's I think I want to send him some of the like more unique stuff because he's like a local folk sort of like rock band guy. I'm like, I think I can kind of get you with that stuff. If I were a husband, I'd be scared of getting up in the middle of the night to grab water when she has that weapon in hand. It's hefty.
That's the last thing.
She works out. She's got weapons.
Yeah. I would never do that to this poor book.
Yeah, no. Not
good
Ellie,
point. That's actually a great point. Great point.
Yeah.
Also, I'd just like to I don't want us to gloss over the fact that I wasn't invited to your birthday. So, okay, cool.
You live in North Carolina. See,
I would drive 8 hours to come to your basement.
Aww. Well, we can redo our PowerPoint party for you.
We still have them all. I've got it saved.
That's okay. Whether you want to or not, I'm expecting you to drive the 8 hours to my wedding. So
that was already planned on it.
We could have live streamed the PowerPoint.
We really should
for out of state guests.
We can live stream the wedding.
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it on the channel. Let's go. Let's go.
on the Butch Collectors Network.
I don't know why all of like in my head, Maddie just being like, "Sup gamers, we're
sup guys, I'm at Steven's wedding."
Should be wearing those headsets with the cat ears as well. Really to like sell the whole gamer aspect.
Steven gonna walk away.
Love it.
Yeah, you need to do it on near mint condition. Sup all you minties, we're at the wedding. We're doing this. Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Do you want to hear about the newest omnibus releases? And you're just in the background. It's just the background. It's just we're really loud. It's just really interrupting everything. But what I do recommend is for my wedding is getting a string quartet to play "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal.
Every time I hear that song, I think of you.
Thank you. Are there any positions free for this wedding that you made?
We don't have any wedding party.
That's smart, honestly.
So it's literally, we're going to be married already. It's just going to be like, hey, let's eat pizza and beer and chill for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, we were too for like 3 years.
I know, that was crazy timing.
I'm excited. I know, it's pizza. Hell yeah. I'll just get you that Black Widow.
There you go. That's how we get this.
My partner will be like, that's what we're getting for our wedding is you're going to get people to bring you comics. And be like, yeah.
But then you could sell the 3 you have. And it's like, you probably could get like Chipotle on that. And so it's really like a meal.
I don't think I could.
Nice.
I could get her, one of those like Taylor Swift Dazzler covers or whatever.
Oh, she'd be thrilled. I'm staring at her Taylor Swift shrine. So.
I had 2 left, so I'll run through them super quick if that works. Yeah. And then, so one is both a nice book and a great version. So I had this version of Wonder Woman Historia.
Oh, I thought about
it for myself. Also, just a nice, again, like really thoughtfully made book. It's almost like a yearbook material, like faux leather. It's nice and embossed, beautiful. And I had that, and I loved it. And it's a great. I mean, the art in this book is like truly next level, and so having it in a bigger version, let me try to find having it in a bigger version is definitely worth it. And I'm hopeful for this book there is
they better make some sort of just oversized something for that and for Supergirl One of Tomorrow, because it deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to do one more because they have 3 different or four different artists on this. I'm trying to find one more.
It's wild. Have you read it, Steven? It's crazy.
I haven't actually.
Oh, highly recommend. And I hope that they get to continue with but anyways, I had this great format. And then one of my friends went to Rose City Comic-Con and got both this book and the print signed by a myriad of artists and writers on the book. And sorry, that was pretty cool. The print is cool, but it's on my wall, so I can't bring it out.
Whoa!
And Gene did a Amazonian portrait of my friend, so that's the signed version that I have, which is pretty cool. So that was so sweet to get a book that I really loved. I thought was beautiful anyways, and now have it kind of upgraded in that way. And then in honor of Kristan, but also because this is actually like a really well-made book. It's an underrated book as well, so it meets Steven's requirements, I think, as well, which is Dragon Hoops by Jean Luen Yang. If you don't physically own this book, change that immediately for a million reasons. What a great story. It's the actual book itself is like a basketball cover. And then inside is also just really well made through and through. But it's basically a story about Jean teaching at a school and learning why basketball culture there was so popular. And this book was only on my radar, I think, because you and Kristan covered it on an episode of Fangirlz a really long time ago. And I was kind of like, I hadn't found a nonfiction graphic novel that I really liked. I have a lot of rules about what works and what doesn't work for me personally with that. And so I got it from the library and it was like in my top 5 that year. I mean, it is a fantastic book. If you read one Jean Luen Yang book, I definitely think it should be this one. And the only criticism of the book itself is like how it's made is that the binding is quite tight and it is pretty long. So it doesn't like flop open. But the faux basketball cover is like what makes it worth it. But yeah, I just can't recommend this book enough. It's really one of those that I think of as like a near universal recommendation. So definitely nice one to have in your collection or to lend out to people to get them into comics, or at least see that comics are something maybe different than they had in mind.
Especially because you and I live in weird basketball country, so.
We do live in weird basketball country, yes.
I don't even want to hear it. That's all North Carolina is. It's college basketball.
We know we don't like you here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, it's all Carolina, Duke, State, Wake.
Yep, we're not doing that great anymore, so.
Hey,
I guess.
Hey,
right?
We got a new. Watch your mouth. We got a new. I don't even go here. I pretend like I
don't even follow it. I was like, what did you follow basketball?
But we do have a new coach, Mark Pope. We have hope with Pope. But also, our women's team isn't too bad. And Ryan Howard, who I did get to watch play, now plays in the WNBA and is on the U.S. Olympic basketball team right now.
All right.
So okay, and we're not supposed to like them, but the U of L women's basketball team is very good.
Yeah.
And so I hope ours continues to get invested in. Whatever makes people happy, it's fine.
Yeah, y'all talk about basketball real quick because my 2 just turned into 3. I've got to go get it. It's not even that.
I'm curious what basketball inspired for Steven.
We've lost you now. We can't hear you.
Oh, we can't hear you. Are you talking? Yeah, you're talking. Oh dear.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. It's coming through the actual mic. All right, I'll be right back.
All right. Okay. Well, we probably won't talk about basketball because that's really all I have to say on that.
Yeah.
How's the chat? Is anyone enjoying the Olympics?
Bar said about whatever story. Man, I love this book. Man, my little sister who doesn't care about comics read this, Supergirl on Tomorrow, and Super Sense. She loves all the Super Sense. Was her fave. Super Sense is the easy thing to love. I feel
Absolutely. Yes.
Gosh, Supergirl One Tomorrow, so good.
I know. I'm so excited for that new format. I actually took out my trade paperback, like same with All Seasons, because it's getting upgraded. I'm like, what should I do with this? We'll see. I like to gift ones I really love versus sell them, unless I'm going to make like an actual good amount of money, but I'm not going to for trade. So I'm trying to think like who would be, like you said, Bar, like someone who doesn't normally read that stuff, but this could be like their thing. So I've been thinking about
somebody that's like sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, I think so too. With the movie coming out, I think it'll be an easy sell. Like, oh, well, the new movie's going to be based on this, so we'll see.
All right, hit us with it, Steven.
I'm going to do the opposite of what you did when you were like, maybe this will show people that comics aren't what they think they are. This is just going to show people that comics are exactly what they think they are.
Let's go.
So first is Jed McKay's Black Cat omnibus.
Nice.
Fun.
I don't know if y'all have read it.
Yes.
No.
It's real good. I don't care about Black Cat at all as a character. I was a DC guy growing up, so I was like, oh, so it's a ripoff of Catwoman. Got it. But yeah, no, this run is stupid good. Just her as a crime boss, and at one point she has her own Iron Man armor. She becomes the Iron Cat, and it's kind of rad. I also, if we're talking about like builds of books and actual art, I just love this.
That's cute.
It's cool.
Like omnibus layout, and I like the old the look of like a tattered, beat up old book. It's just very cool, and it's like it reads super fast. I think I read this thing in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Which for some people might be slow, but for me to read an Omni in 2 days,
that's what a reasonable person does.
Yeah, if that. It took me, I can't tell you how long it took me to read the Immortal Hulk omnibus, but that's also like 1,600 pages. And it's very dense because that writing is very, I don't know, it made my brain hurt at times.
Yeah, I've got to read
reading.
Fantastic Four by Wade before Tuesday, and I already know I'm not going to start it till tomorrow.
Whoa.
The whole run?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then this one, I'm not going to really say anything about, which is why I went and got the other one. Because I don't want to spoil anything about this, but the deluxe format of it is beautiful, which is the mini Deaths of Layla Starr, which is a wonderful book by, is it Ram or Ram? Ram.
Yeah.
Right?
I would say Ram, but it is probably Ram V.
Ram V. And Felipe, never know, Andrade. And yeah, no, it's, I don't want to show any of the pages.
Beautiful. Yeah, I would just,
and I don't want to talk about any of the story. Which
give
is why I'm
not Upgrade Soul. Like,
yeah, I'll give you the just a picture of like one of the covers from the gallery and like how like beautiful this art is. And the whole book is basically drawn that way. Like it's so good. But I'm not going to tell anybody anything going into it because I think it is definitely one of those books that I read going into it knowing nothing, and it is beautiful. So since I'm not going to tell you anything about that, I am going to tell you about this. This is so good. This is Carla Pacheco's run on Spider-Woman. They just collected it into a complete edition.
I haven't read Spider-Woman either.
Wait,
so here's the thing.
I don't think I have.
Spider-Woman wasn't really my thing until Dennis Hopeless came along and wrote his run. And they also have collected his whole run into a complete collection. It's wonderful and amazing and great. And she has a baby. And it's finally like, it finally lets her be a funny character. And like, she's best friends with Captain Marvel. They really lean into that.
Oh, so, they're best friends. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
She also has a himbo in that book as well, which is delightful. That's why I think Maddie, Maddie, that is a book you should just blind buy right now. I'm just telling you, like this one particularly.
Run. Okay. Yeah. And frankly, the follow-up to it that picks up right where it left off, which is Carla Pacheco and Pere Perez's run, is so good. This is, I said Kaya, but same thing here. This is the most fun I had like with a comic in a long time, because the first like 12 issues are fairly dark, but still fun. They really in the last couple runs have leaned into her as a badass, but also like a sassy, just like I you know, do no harm, take no shit type person. And I don't know, I've really grown to like love this character. But it's so good. This one, as a parent, made me emotional, but it's fantastic. Pere Perez's art is gorgeous.
Maybe I'll ask this over your new reader next month, because like,
well, you should start though.
You got to do Dennis Hopeless first.
Do both. I mean, honestly. They're not that long.
Hey, which Tuesdays and Sundays are you guys free next month? Because I really need some help.
Hey, I will always.
Just lay your schedules.
You know I'll always come on. As long as you give me enough heads up on what to read. Yeah,
I will.
You know, that's always good. Because I'm, the kid. But yeah, no, this is so fun. It's definitely worth your time. Okay. I think it is a blind buy type of book. Just go for it. That's how I feel about literally everything that I have talked about today. Like, you can go into it completely knowing nothing about Spider-Woman, and you're going to come out. She's one of the few floppies that I pick up every month now.
Yeah.
Even though that run is ending, but because Marvel cancels everything, so. The brand new Captain Marvel run that I actually love, and the Spider-Woman run are both ending with issue 10.
God, you can't trust them. You just can't. At least DC,
And it's like, it's not like it's Alyssa Wong writing Captain Marvel, and they're great. So I don't know. I'm still mourning the loss of my sweet, sweet Dr. Aphra. But
at least she got a ton of stuff.
Yeah, it was 40 issues in the first run, 40 issues in the second run. But I'm gonna need more.
It was so annoying though that they put out that second Omni that was so skinny and then canceled it like I don't even know how many months, not even barely a few months later. And I'm like, this could have been so symmetrical. If you're gonna cancel it, at least give me like beautiful shelf symmetry. That was so frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Wait, whoa, hold on. Oh, the book. Okay, I thought you meant they had solicited a second Omni, and really, I was like,
no. Well,
they
yeah,
better finish that run.
No, yeah, I mean, hang on, 1 second.
Yeah, the first one's like
it's a chunky.
The first one's a thick boy. The next one is probably about the size of this like Black Cat run.
Yeah, and then I was just I was annoyed, and then you're gonna cancel after when I could have had, as you said, they're about the same length if this one was connected. It just annoys me. It's just small things. Like I know you want to make money, but I'm pretty sure you make money off of Star Wars. I'm pretty sure we
you could have just waited.
Yeah, as someone who buys every single Star Wars Omni, it's like the only Omni like continuous buy that I do. That frustrated me a lot. Especially because now my collection of Dr. Aphra is Omni number 1, Tiny Omni number 2, 2 small trade paperbacks.
It's so
and
frustrating.
I don't know how they're going to collect that. That's going to be like a $50 Omni. It's really going to have to be a deluxe, like
the Kanan size or something.
Yeah, it's going to be that big. Like it's maybe a little bigger because it's I think 15 issues.
Well, they'll release that, and then 2 years later they'll release those same ones, but in one big one, so that you
one
have to
big
buy
Omni.
it again. That's what they're gonna do.
And I'll buy it again. I can't.
Don't tell them that, Stephen.
No,
it's
can't
okay. We're on Fangirlz. They won't know. If we send a nearment, they'll find out. Well, I think it's been really fun. We better wrap it up so that way Bar will study math. Pass your test.
It's important.
Oh, math is terrible.
I hate math. I was in advanced math classes, but only just by accident. And I hated them and I never did well and I almost failed all of them. But I did really good in stats.
Oh, I hated stats. I thrived with geometry. It didn't even feel like math to me. It felt like it was its own thing. I was really living in that class.
I almost failed geometry.
Everyone says that. I think you're like
I went to summer school for geography, but granted, there's a lot happening in my life that year.
Okay.
But like I'd never in my life gone to summer school. It was so embarrassing.
Hey, Maddie, ask me what I've been reading lately.
What have you been reading lately?
Nothing but My Little Pony comics, because that's all my daughter wants to read.
Oh.
I can tell you all about maritime
You should log
mysteries.
them into Goodreads every time you read one to your daughter.
No, because I have read Camp Big Hoof, all 5 issues of that miniseries, like 10 times.
Exactly.
I have read all 5 issues of the Kentucky Roller Derby.
Oh, that's so cute, though.
Now, granted, there are like classics reimagined where like it's Romeo and Juliet, and it's fun to see how they get around the fact that everyone dies at the end. So spoilers for Romeo and Juliet.
It's like I saw this one like Twitter post, this guy who was like, hey, should I log onto Letterboxd every time I watch Trolls 2 with my daughter? And they're like, yes. And so now it's Letterboxd is so messed up.
My Letterboxd has a decent amount of Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
Paw Patrol the movie.
Propaganda.
We're very into Incredibles 2 right now. So I've watched Incredibles 2 a lot.
Are you guys watching
It's a great movie, though.
Bluey, we've moved past Bluey. Now we're just almost said balls deep. We're just very deep into My Little Pony now. But it has got her collecting comics. So she's like, I need to make sure we have issue 14 because we have 12 and 13 or 13 and 15, and we have to go to all the different stores in town until we find it. And I'm like, I get it. Like she's like, she'll show me. She'll be like, this is the cover A, but I need the variant. We want.
It's just like, oh, you.
Oh yeah, and she has like a little binder that she keeps them in. She's like, "These are my comics. They're torn to hell, but she's like, these are my comics, and I'm gonna collect them." She told me one day, she's like, "Daddy, I'm just like you," and I was like, "This is my dream. This is everything I want. I just want a sweet gay little child who does nothing but read comics. That's the dream. She's gonna be a monster one day. Anyway."
No. Well, thank you guys so much. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
I'll just start a group text after and be like, "When you guys free? Please help me out."
Yeah, I would love to reread. I haven't reread the Hopeless stuff in a while. I still need to get the collection that you have. I have 2 of the skinny trades because the next set is 3 or 4 skinny trades combined. 3, right?
The Dennis set or the Pacheco?
The Pacheco set is 3.
I think Pacheco is 3. Yeah, and
I have 2. Yeah, I need to get
4, maybe 5. No, 4. No, it might be 5 because I mean it's no. Okay, sorry. Because I'm like it's 2014 1 through 10, 2015 1 through 5, then 8 through 17. So yeah, it's almost 30 issues.
Yeah, I need to get the other book, but yeah, I'm down to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love it.
Yeah.
I'll read it.
Dads and daughters. If my child's to read comics, I'm returning them and getting a full refund. Yeah, it's my greatest fear that they won't be geeky. I don't think a kid could be born to this house and not.
No, but you have a lot of interests, so surely one of them will align.
Oh yeah. Comics and I also love children's cartoons. So if they'll watch Craig of the Creek or like Steven Universe, with easy.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
She was fine with Clone Wars.
Yeah,
she was into it. I was like, good.
Watch Craig of the Creek.
The what?
It's Craig of the Creek. He's here to save the day. It's him and all these other kids in the creek, but they have their own like lore. Because like, what happened in the game of tag from 10 years ago, Steven? It's pretty intense. We never covered the piece of the puzzle.
Is this like the Kieran Gillen series Die, where it's just like we played D&D 10 years ago and everything went bad?
You know, it's not unlike that.
Do less kids die?
No kids die.
Okay, because they're like, we have to go back.
They're all in elementary. Most of them are in elementary school, except for the couple high schoolers that play D&D under a rock and like fake Evangelion or whatever. It's so good.
Never heard of that series. Are you talking about Die or Craig of the Creek?
Craig of the Creek.
Craig of the Creek.
Just get a max like subscription for like 1 month, and also watch all of Adventure with Superman at the same time.
It's a Swamp Thing spinoff, Craig of the Creek. This is like his cousin. It teaches kids how to count.
I should just lie to people and just say that's what it is, so they'll do it.
Yeah, I'll probably just text you and be like, "What's that Creek show?
What's that? What's that Creek show?
What's that Creek show? What's that Creek show?
Tell me about that Creek show.
The Creek.
Thank you, Chad, for being here. I'll be back on Wednesday at 6 with something. I promise next month will be more planned.
And I will be back on Wednesday at 6 with something too.
I mean, if you're free and want to hang out with me, please do.
I mean, I have my kid, but I can.
Otherwise, just me bringing in Elliot and be like, "Can you talk about something with me?" And he'll go, "Sure." We did common board games on Friday.
That was interesting. Yeah, I liked that.
I'm not opposed. Text me.
Okay, I will. All right, I need to go wake up my snoring husband in the other room. Everybody have a good rest of your day. Watch some of the Olympics. Study for your math tests. Mm-hmm. And we'll see you all next time. Bye.